Hello viewers. So today we bring to you the revision capsule part 2 for the June 2025. The first topic which we are starting with is Chabahar port. It was recently in news because of India and Iran who have signed a 10-year contract for operating the Chabahar port in Iran. Chabahar is what? It is Iran's oceanic port nearest to India, and it is situated in Sistan and Baluchistan on the Makran coast, and it lies in the Gulf of Oman. So please remember these positioning of the Chabahar port, which is important for your prelims examination. It has two main ports. One is called Shahid Kalantari port and the second is Shahid Beheshti port. And Iran had offered India the project for developing this Shahid Beheshti port, which was well received by India. So they signed a MOU for the development and of the Chabahar port in May 2015, and in May 2016 India, Iran and Afghanistan signed a trilateral agreement to establish the corridor, which was called International Transport and Transit Corridor, and that is why it was known as Chabahar Agreement. The second topic which is important for your exam and which we are focusing on is Axiom Mission 4. Axiom Mission 4 is a historic private space flight to the International Space Station, featuring India's return to human spaceflight after 41 years. Why it's important is because in this Axiom Mission 4, there were four people or crew who went to the ISS, and one of them was Indian, which belonged to Lucknow, and he was Mr. Shubhanshu Shukla. Besides him, there were Peggy Whitson, who was from USA, who was the commander of the crew, then Ornaski, who belonged to Poland, and there was this mission specialist Tibor Kapu, who was from Hungary. So this is important because it speaks about India's return to human spaceflight after 41 years since Rakesh Sharma's 1984 mission. So it was first government sponsored flights to the International Space Station for India, Poland and Hungary in over 4 decades. So that's why it's important from the point of view of the exam. The third important topic which we will be covering today is thrust waves. Thrust wave is a new concept given by the geographical scientists, and this is a new term to describe extended period of atmospheric thrust called thrust waves. This thrust wave has at least 3 consecutive days when daily evaporative demand is greater than its historical 90th percentile value for that period. So there are combination of factors which drives evaporative demand, and some of the factors to mention with is temperature, wind speed, humidity and sunshine. And these thrust waves can help farmers better manage their water resources and improve crop yields. And this was mentioned in for the first time when we talk about the difference between thrust wave and heat waves. Heat waves you already know because it is one of the most common concept which we study, but thrust wave was the concept coined for the first time by the researchers. They describe it as the atmospheric thrust which is of extended period and at least 3 consecutive days. So the last concept which we will do today is hemophilia A, which is a hereditary bleeding disorder caused by a deficiency of coagulation factor 8. This lack of factor 8 often caused by a mutation of F8 gene, prevents proper blood clotting, and that is why it leads to excessive bleeding, usually inherited as an X-linked recessive trait affecting mostly males. So these are some of the important facts you must remember, that it is a bleeding disorder. Secondly, it prevents this disease. When it happens, it prevents proper clotting, blood clotting, and that is why it leads to excessive bleeding, and it is affecting mostly males. How it is caused is the deficiency of factor F8. Inheritance, X-linked recessive, and alternative name for hemophilia is classic hemophilia. Systems properly, as we already discussed, that it is prolonged bleeding, easy bruising, and spontaneous bleeding, often into joints. The treatment is factor 8 therapy.